Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Good morning, everyone. Happy day after the election. And we are here on Main Street TV, and we are going to be talking about all things election this morning. Well, maybe some other stuff if we run out of time. But I suckered my good friend Pete Wilson to come in after a very, very long and busy evening. And basically, we have the results, and that's totally cool. But I wanted to kind of get your take on some of the stuff too, Pete. And, you know, it was always fun when Dad was around and John and all that. And we would kind of, take the next day after Election Day and analyze some of the results. And, it's kind of interesting to see what's going on in people's noggins,
Right.
And it's fun.
The old phrase, hindsight is always 20/20.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I understand why they voted that way.
Yeah.
And it's usually maybe a complete flip-flop from maybe what you were expecting.
I would say so. And, there are some, while we didn't have, any super controversial, I guess, local elections here, maybe a school board race or two here. But of course, there were some statewide issues that were pretty hot topics. And I'm curious as to how, our local area fared with how the rest of the state voted on some of those too. So that's kind of why I wanted to pick your brain about some of those things this morning. And I know you can't stay around long. You have a lot of stuff to do.
Right. Okay. Well, on the state issues, here's how it broke down. It was pretty evident early in the evening as, you were charting the results coming in statewide from the Secretary of State that state issue 1 was going to pass. And that is the reproductive rights proposed constitutional amendment, which includes relaxing some of the bans and controls on abortion.
Yep.
And on that, it piled up some very big leads in the urban areas,
like
and
big time.
And in the blue areas of the state, particularly the cities. When the votes rolled in from the rural areas, it was completely different, but it was not enough to flop the whole thing.
Correct.
I just took a look at one of the statewide news websites. I'm not sure whether this is 100% of the vote in, but it was 57% for state issue 1 and 43% against.
I mean, that one pretty handily. And I'll be honest with you, these state issues, I was surprised kind of by the results of them, both of them.
Right. And so on state issue 2, which was, the legalization of recreational marijuana.
This one really surprised me.
On that one, I thought, in our little corner of the state, we didn't really hear a whole lot about it. We heard a lot about issue 1.
Yes.
We didn't hear a whole lot about issue 2, even though issue 2 would seem to be, a pretty important issue too.
Yes.
Well, statewide, state issue 2, it was all the bottom line totals almost completely mirrored issue 1, although the vote distributions on where they came from may have been different, but it was about 57%, a little less than that for issue 2, 43% against. And I had the impression, just from listening to people, that state issue 1 would pass, and it wouldn't be, it would be a clear victory. And I thought that state issue 2 may lose in a close race.
That's where in a close race.
Right, but it was
That's exactly
the
what I
difference
would
was
have
the
said.
margin was about the same as state issue 1, and I don't think that there was a strong push for issue 2 the way there was for state issue 1. State issue 1 there was push both ways, but on state issue 2 you didn't hear a whole lot. But
You didn't.
But it's the proponents that have to promote and get the word out on why it's a good thing, and I never really saw a whole lot, and so automatically it's just like the aggregation thing. You don't
Yeah.
hear a whole lot about it, and you don't understand it, and it's on there. Well, I don't know what this is.
So you vote no.
Yeah, that's the safe thing to do.
Yeah.
And I thought that's might what happened on the marijuana thing. But
Yeah, for sure.
locally, there was a big distinction, and we're talking when we're locally. I'm talking about Jackson, Vinton County. So I'm guessing that it might have been the same in the region, except for Athens County,
Oh, of course.
where Ohio University
Yeah,
is, and
a little different there.
yeah, right, exactly. But in Jackson County on state issue 1, I have that exact vote. 3,054 voted in favor of the amendment, 5,116 against. That is about 60-40 against.
Oh, wow.
60-40 against when it's 57-43 statewide. Right, and in
I didn't think it would be that much, Pete.
in Vinton County, it was about the same.
Okay.
I don't have those numbers in front of me, but I did a quick check on some numbers that were in front of me and posted, and they were in the same league as Jackson County, maybe even a little bit more against state issue 1. Now, state issue 2, would you guess? If this is a conservative area,
Very
a conservative area, wouldn't
sure.
you guess that maybe the recreational marijuana thing would be voted down, similar to the state issue 1, which had the controversial issue, the emotional issue of abortion?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, in Vinton County, they passed the recreational marijuana.
Wow.
It was close, but they passed it. In Jackson County, it was very close. It lost, but it was very close. It was. For state issue 2, it was it was 2,055 for issue 1 and 1,578. No, it passed in Jackson County.
Wait, for issue 2, you mean?
Yeah, state issue 2. Let's see. 1,000. Let me see your sheet real quick here.
I didn't see it on there. Is it on there?
Okay, let's see here. Maybe.
For some reason, I wasn't thinking it was on there, but maybe it is.
No, this is all local.
Yeah,
I'm
this is
reading
the
from the
local
script here, so let me take a minute here.
Yeah, because
Okay, all right, here it is right here. I was looking at something else.
okay.
In Jackson County, state issue 2, this is recreational marijuana. 4,111 said no, 3,889 said yes. That's like 52%.
Yeah, that's pretty
to
close.
48%. No, it was pretty close. And what are they thinking? What is driving people to vote one way or the other? It's kind of hard to tell. There were some associations, including the Ohio Prosecuting Attorneys Association, that came out against issue 2.
Yeah, a lot of law enforcement.
Right, there
things
wasn't
like
a
that.
lot that came out for it as far as organizational support. For instance, the Ohio Democratic Party was very strongly behind state issue 1, but silent on state issue 2. And as far as organizationally speaking, the Republican Party too. So I'm thinking that on the recreational marijuana, you have a lot of individuals who think that that's okay.
So yeah, and so this really does blow my mind, Pete. And I was talking with my husband about this morning of this recreational marijuana thing, because I understand issue 1. That's about women's rights and their bodies and your right to choose what to do with your body and all that stuff.
Mhm.
I totally get that. I would expect nothing less than that to fail here because we are very conservative down here. But the marijuana issue, you just don't know what people are thinking. And when I saw that was winning so much last night, just statewide, I
Mhm.
was like, whoa, I've never thought in a million years that it would come close to passing.
No,
I didn't think Ohio was ready for that yet.
Right.
Now, it's even more shocking that the fact that the votes down here were so close.
Right.
And you wonder, Why is that? We were discussing that this morning. It's like, is it just because people have just had it up to here with just everything, and they're like, just forget it, man. Let's just let people have some fun, or what's the deal?
Well, just like if people don't understand something, like aggregation, and
Yes.
Commissioner John Hensler was on the air late last night discussing that. He thought, that's a natural inclination of voters,
Sure.
if you don't understand,
no.
or, that's the easy thing, to keep the status quo. Well, I think the same thing goes on the legalization of marijuana. If you're not sure, well, I'm not sure that I want to do this, so I'll vote no. That tells me that a lot of
Are we all
individuals
potheads or
thought,
what?
well, I think there's maybe some of that. There may be some people who think that it would be okay to be recreational users. They're uneasy that technically it's illegal, even though you probably not.
Yep.
Okay.
You gotta go. Pete's gotta go.
I'll see you.
Okay.
I'll check this phone call out. I am sorry.
Okay, no, you're fine. He was expecting a phone call. So, but it does beg the question, okay, that's fine. He's got to go. But he'll be back. But it does beg the question why that vote was the way that it was. So there you go. Thanks, Dylan. So there is issue 2, and that is a statewide with more than 95% of the votes in the state of Ohio. That graphic is showing the total reported a little over 3.8 million votes, and as of right now in the state of Ohio, the legalization of recreational marijuana is winning 2,183,734 votes to 1,649,384 votes, which is a 57% lead. So that's definitely something. And then the state issue 1, roughly basically the same amount of voters in, greater than 95%. They still have some provisionals to check, and some of those other write-ins, or not write-ins, but the mail-in ballots, things like that. But we're at, actually, marijuana passed more than issue 1, and I would have never thought that in a million years. So that's where we're at right now. Roughly the same percentages, about 56-57% for. So there you go. The state of Ohio has spoken, and that's where we're at. Now, I know that you all had a lot of questions about some of the local issues. We had quite a few local issues to vote on here, not necessarily countywide, but within your precinct. And I know that Jeremiah and Pete did a very, very good job last night of reporting the results. Didn't get to report some of the local ones till late last night, so you might not have seen all of that or heard all of it. So I think Jeremiah prepared a very nice video for you. Is that true, Dylan?
Yep.
Kind of goes over everything.
Yep. It's just the radio broadcast from last night, but we just kind of videoed it.
Okay, so this would be kind of a synopsis of their radio broadcast last night. So we thought that we would just go ahead and let you hear Jeremiah and Pete and all the gang go over those results, and then we'll be back on the other side of it. Maybe do a little bit more analysis, and then I think we might have a few results from Vinton County as well. So we will be back right on the other side of that. So stay tuned, because you're going to hear all of our local results.
Now let's go live once again to Pete Wilson and Jeremiah Shaver from the Telegram News.
All right, back here in the John Pelletier studio, and I have one word to say: hallelujah! We have got the final results in. Long night, long day for everybody involved with the election, the candidates, the election officials, and even us here at Total Media as we're bringing the results to you. Those final results we've been waiting for from the Jackson County Board of Election have just arrived via email, and now Jeremiah Shaver and I are going to give it to you. We're going to give you them in order, starting with the municipalities and going all the way through. We're going to also do the uncontested candidates, because we know that people want to know all the numbers. So pay attention, This is going to be the last roundup for us. All right, and by the way, looking at the sheet, we see that the overall turnout in Jackson County pretty high for a so-called off-year election, 40.94%, almost 41%, meaning 8,305 ballots cast out of 20,287 registered voters. And we can say, based on the early votes, and that doesn't count all the absentees, it looks like at least 30% voted early. All right, we'll start in the city of Jackson, and all these candidates uncontested. Mayor Randy Evans, 1,107 complimentary votes. For President of Council, Daniel D. Folks, 1,035 complimentary votes. For City Auditor, Brett Reed, 1,070 complimentary votes. For At-Large Council, 3 to be elected, so they're all in, so these are complimentary votes. Jeff Elliott, 854 votes. Paul Brett Foster, 653 votes. Marva Colby, 594 votes. At the ward level, all these folks also unopposed. By the way, everybody running in the city of Jackson are incumbents. For First Ward Council, J. Ryan Peters, 310 complimentary votes. For Ward 2 Council, Harold E. Newkirk, 204 complimentary votes. For Third Ward Council, Herman D. Crabtree Jr., 175 complimentary votes. Fourth Ward Council, write-in votes, 31 votes for Pete Bopp, who was the write-in candidate. For Mayor of Wellston, as we go to the city of Wellston now, Anthony Brenner, 934 complimentary votes as the mayor. Complimentary votes, President of Council, Rick A. Hudson, 875. The lone race in the city of Wellston was for City Auditor, and John D. Dupree, who was ahead after the early votes, lengthened that lead in the voting today. The final totals through John C. Dupree, 783 votes. For Kathy Helm, the independent candidate, 331 votes, about a 2-to-1 victory for John C. Dupree, better known as Chris. He will be the Wellston City Auditor starting in the year 2024. Other candidates in Wellston, these are all unopposed. Write-in candidate for Treasurer, Brittany Arthur, 78 write-in complimentary votes. 2 candidates unopposed for Wellston City Council, Roby D. Browning, 625 complimentary votes. Teresa E. Pond-Lamaster, 676 complimentary votes. For First Ward Council, Angela Spangler, 209 complimentary votes. Write-in candidate Hunter Skaggs for Second Ward Council, 9 complimentary votes. No candidates listed for Third Ward Council or Fourth Ward Council, and there was only, as we said, Browning and Pond-Lamaster for At-Large Council. There are 3 spots there, so a third candidate didn't run there. In the village of Colton, write-in for mayor, that would be James Milliken, 32 complimentary votes. And there were also supposed to be Colton Council candidates, but there were none. In the village of Oak Hill, for mayor, Paul McNeil is reelected as mayor in a big victory, 281 votes versus Tara Cooper, the challenger, 87 votes, so 4 more years for Paul A. McNeil. For village council, Stephen Dwayne Campbell, the incumbent, 237 votes, also elected, as there were 2 seats up for election, is write-in candidate Vincent Powell with 20 votes. Board of Trustees in Oak Hill, Richard D. McMahon, I believe he's an incumbent, 271 complimentary votes. There were 2 seats there, so one of them is vacant. And in Bloomfield Township, there were 3 write-in candidates, a total of 165 votes, and right now we cannot tell you the breakdown between Ryan Irwin and Edgar Conger. We were told that we would probably have them broken down, but as of right now, we don't. We will be checking on that maybe before we go off the air. For fiscal officer in Bloomfield Township, unopposed, Mark Hemming, 192 complimentary votes. And we'll turn it over to Jeremiah as he continues with the townships.
Very good, Pete. And in Cole Township, trustee, you have Timothy Wheatley, 217 votes. Glenn R. Linton, 173 votes. Cole Township Physical Officer, Karen Fulton, 306 votes. Franklin Township Trustee, Randy Eric Evans, 497 complimentary votes. In Franklin Township Physical Officer. Jack Webb II got 505 complimentary votes. In Hamilton Township Trustee, you had a vote for one there. You had 4 running for that seat, and the winner would be Gerald Fulkerson with 136 votes. The other votes are Jeremy Mollett with 53, Daniel Evans with 25, and Dakota Moore with 21. Hamilton Township Physical Officer Candy L. Diltz, 186 complimentary votes. Jackson Township Trustee, you have Joseph L. Tanner, 203 votes, and Ladida Dilly, 125 votes. On the Jackson Township Physical Officer, Dave R. Dilly, 217 complimentary votes. Jefferson Township Trustee, you have Daniel Parker, 408 votes. Harold Atkins Jr., 396 votes. On Jefferson Township Physical Officer, you have Jim Salone, 416 votes. Kenneth E. Atkins, 409 votes. Flipping the page. Liberty Township Trustee Steve Regal, 390 complimentary votes. Liberty Township Physical Officer Jill L. Newman, 366 complimentary votes. And I believe this is another one. It was a 3-way race for Lick Township Trustee. You could only vote for one. I don't have those in front of me. Maybe you can.
Yes, it's Andrew Bobo, Stephen Gillen, and Travis P. Hughes. That was the township where there were 3 write-in candidates.
3 write-in candidates. There was 325 ballots cast in that race, and we do not have a breakdown of who got how many votes, so we'll be looking into that. On the Lick Township Physical Officer, you have Melody S. Walker, that is 449 votes, and then the write-in, that was Tyler Anders, I believe, 65 votes. And Madison Township Trustee, Chris Walls, 398 complimentary votes. Madison Township Physical Officer, Melissa Missy Strickland, 368 complimentary votes. Milton Township Trustee, Bert Jim Hall, 208 complimentary votes. Milton Township Physical Officer James C. Johnson, 220 complimentary votes. Soda Township Trustee, you just vote for one there. Your winner there was Aaron Leemaster, 239 votes. And the other votes, you had Brian Durham, 160 votes. Mac Taylor Jr., 66 votes. Soda Township Physical Officer, you had Judy L. Kiefer, 372 votes. And then the write-in there was Michelle Moon, and they had 57 votes. And then in Washington Township Trustee, you had, let me find it here. Oh, here it is. Oh no, it's just the one, right? Robert E. Denny Jr., 163 complimentary votes. We'll pass the baton back to you, sir.
All right, one last race on the township level. That's Washington Township Fiscal Officer, and there was a contest there. Incumbent Jonna Bates, 116 votes. Challenger Alicia Atkins, 77 votes. Now we move to the school boards. The Gallia-Vinton Educational Service Center Board, unopposed Roy L. Jones, 52 complimentary votes. That is ESC District 4. Educational Service Center Board RP, that was Truman L. Hilton with 27 complimentary votes. Educational Service Center SC, just one person to be voted in there, a write-in candidate unidentified here on our run sheet, 110 votes. Eastern Local School District, 2 to be elected, as a small section of Jackson County is in the Eastern District. Frank V. Bevins Jr., 19 votes. Deborah J. Hanna, 16 votes. Gallia Local School District, once again, a small section of Jackson County in the Gallia County District. Larry Carter, 44 votes. Beth James, 23 votes. Terry Howling, 19 votes. Sherry Markham, 14 votes, and Mickey Browning, 7 votes. Moving to the Jackson City School District, 3 to be elected, and there were 3 candidates, so these are complementary votes. Patrick McDonald, 2,136 votes. Brian Moore, 2,194 votes. Kimberly White, 1,781 votes. McDonald and Moore are incumbents. Kimberly White is a new candidate. They will all begin new 4-year terms the first of the year. In the contested race in the Jackson City School District for school board, an unexpired seat, close race, but the winner is Kyle J. Hickey. Kyle J. Hickey, 1,869 votes. Michael Perkins, 1,643 votes. Hickey will serve the final 2 years of a term that's currently held by Butch Cooper. Hickey will serve years 2024 and 2025. Oak Hill Union Local School District, 3 candidates running through 2 spots. The winner is Timothy Howard, or leading the ticket is Timothy Howard, 1,209 votes. And a big victory for the write-in candidate, getting the number 2 spot. That is Tyler Evans, 588 votes. He was able to outpoll the 3rd candidate in the race, J.F. Rupert, who had his name on the ballot, 363 votes. Vinton County Local School District, just a handful of votes in the in Jackson County. Jerry Kendrick, 4 votes. Scott Phelps, 2 votes. Roger Houck, 0. Marianne Hale, 0. That's interesting, since Hale and Houck won big in Vinton County, didn't get any votes in Jackson County. In the Vinton County Local School District for that unexpired term, Misty Napier holds that seat, and she was elected without opposition in Vinton County. We know that from the reports given to us by Jeff Thacker. Misty Napier got 1 complimentary vote in Jackson County. Wellston City School District, we had a contest there, and it was very competitive. The 2 men being elected are Adam Massey and Gerald Bryan Kilgore. Adam Massey led the ticket, 1,044 votes. Gerald Bryan Kilgore, who is an incumbent, close behind, 1,002 votes. Matthew Peterson, another one of the challengers, 752 votes. Kilgore and Massey will begin new 4-year terms at the start of the year. In Jackson County, how did Issue 1 and Issue 2 do? For Issue 1, that is the Reproductive Rights Amendment, it got torpedoed in Jackson County. 5,116 votes against, 3,054 votes for. That is 63% against 37%. Of course, Issue 1 was winning statewide. The last percentages we saw was 55-45 in favor. Issue 2, which was making recreational marijuana legal, which won statewide, it lost in Jackson County as well, but by a closer vote than the Reproductive Rights Amendment. No against recreational marijuana, 4,111 votes. Yes for recreational marijuana, 3,889 votes. That's about 51% against 49%, pretty close. In aggregation, of course, we heard from John Hensler about that, and it was a pretty clear loser. It didn't get hammered, but a clearer margin to overcome there for the county commissioners and aggregation supporters when they take that to the ballot again, as John Hensler says they may. The natural gas aggregation vote was no, 2,560, yes, 1,760. That's 59% to 41%. The electric aggregation, just about the same percentage-wise, 2,609 no, 1,754 yes, 60% to 40%. The countywide levies in Jackson County, the EMS levy, that was a replacement levy. It passed easily, 4,806 votes for against 3,005 votes against. That's about 61.5% to 38.5%. Good support for EMS. Of course, you heard Commissioner Hensler talk about how proud he is of our EMS system here in Jackson County. The Jackson County Senior Citizens Levy, that was a renewal. Big winner there, 5,325 votes for that levy, 2,560 against. That was between 67 and 68% approval. And Mr. Shaver, take us home.
We'll take it home, sir. So finishing up here, we have the Colton Current Expense Levy. Against the tax levy, 47 votes. For the tax levy, 38. The Colton Police Levy, against the tax levy, 44. For the tax levy, 42. The Colton Express, they had 2 liquor options on, one for the regular sales and one for Sunday sales. On the regular sales, yes, 54, no, 32. On the Sunday sales, yes 53, no 33. On the Handy Mart liquor option, I believe that was here in the 4th Ward in the city of Jackson. Yes, 214. No, 196. The Oak Hill Cemetery levy. For the tax levy, 254. Against the tax levy, 103. Oak Hill Current Expenses levy. For the tax levy, 211. Against the tax levy, 144. The Oak Hill Parks and Rec. For the tax levy, 246. Against the tax levy, 112. The Oak Hill Street Lighting levy. For the tax levy, 204. Against the tax levy, 117. And then the Wellston Streets levy. For the tax levy, 741. Against the tax levy, 447. And then the Wellston Parks and Rec levy, which was for the construction of a swimming pool there in the city and other rec purposes. For the tax levy, 402. Against the tax levy, 783. And then there in the city of Wellston, you had, I believe it was the store, which it's labeled as Jackson Petroleum. It's a liquor option. 140 yes, 142 no on that liquor option. And then just a couple streets over at Scotty's on First, the liquor option there, 118 yes, 69 no. That is a rundown of your final unofficial results here, Pete.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jeremiah Shaver. Certainly thanks to Jeff Thacker and Red Thompson in Vinton County, to Eric Euler here behind the board. We think everything went pretty smooth. Now, if you want to go back and check these results, we're going to have some results and stories in some form on the website tonight. We're going to get a cup of coffee or whatever and tee her up and work a while longer here. And, of course, tomorrow on Main Street TV, we'll expect to have a little election recap. We'll certainly have election recaps on the radio news on our newscast tomorrow as well. We'll follow up Jeremiah in the print edition with a little bit more of in-depth reporting where we have time. Unfortunately, we won't be able to have any election news in our Wednesday print edition. I know Wednesday hasn't arrived yet, but deadlines make that impossible. But we promise to deliver in our Saturday edition, which, by the way, will be coming out a day early Friday because of Veterans Day. So for everybody who was involved in this broadcast, telecast, videocast, we appreciate you. We especially appreciate our listeners out there. We know we had a good following, both on the video and on the radio. Once again, for everybody involved, this is Pete Wilson, the Telegram editor, wishing you all a very pleasant good evening.
Wait, can you wave at yourself? Hey, who's that guy? Jeremiah's here with us. So,
good morning.
Are you awake? That was a long night for you.
It was a long night for Pete and I and the rest of the Total Media News team over there.
Yes.
I was telling you before we broke back, we got that final email for Jackson County. I looked at my email. It was 11:15 is when those final results came in.
Yeah, that's a long night.
That is. And, once we did that rundown that you just saw there on the live stream and on the radio as well.
Yes.
Then we had to write for the website. So we kind of split that up. Pete did some stuff. I did some stuff. And by the time we got sorted through it all and Red did his Vinton County stuff, I walked out of here a little after 3 a.m.
Oh my goodness!
And
no wonder you're sucking on the,
yes,
the McDonald's coffee.
I got some go juice, courtesy of McDonald's. But it, I got home, it was about 3:30. I didn't even shower, Jen. I just stripped, put on my PJs, and crawled into bed because the wife gets up about 5 a.m.
Oh no!
And I'm crawling into bed at 3:30 a.m. So. But luckily, our little guy let me sleep in a little bit this morning because he was still sleeping, and so then I got to sleep a little longer than I normally would. But we're here. I just wanted to pop on real quick. I don't have much more information other than what you heard there, but I kind of wanted to give a little explanation. I don't know if you caught on a couple of the townships, the write-ins.
Yes.
I wanted to give a little explanation on that.
Sure.
Let me pull my phone out here. Right.
Do you need that?
No, I don't. I don't need that. I gotta check a text message here real quick to get the here it is. Okay, so there was a number of write-in candidates I may need this, Jen. Um,
See?
yeah. I can't remember. Okay, so it was the Bloomfield Township trustee. There was two write-in candidates there,
Yes.
and we you heard there on the broadcast. There was 165 votes cast for write-ins, but it did not break it down
Yeah.
on the results that we got. So we don't know who won that race, and we won't know until November 17th.
Whoa.
So they'll do the
Okay.
they'll do the official count on November 17th, and when they do that count, they'll have to hand count the write-ins. So when we go vote, we get a paper ballot and we fill in the bubble and we write in a name. Well, that scanner, me and Pete thought about this last night. We're like, why didn't we get it? Well, when you stick it in that scanner, it scans those circles. So it's scanned and it knows that there's something written in on
Right.
those spots, but it doesn't tell you what the name is.
And you know what else I thought about this, Jeremiah, as you were sitting here talking about it? As I was filling out my ballot yesterday, I noticed a lot of lines there for write-ins and whatnot. And I'll bet you anything, there's a ton of people that wrote a name and didn't fill the little circle
bubble
in.
And
I don't know what that does.
I don't know either. I don't know if it'll still count. If they didn't, they may count it.
I don't know.
I don't know. So there may be.
That's a good question.
That is a good question. So there may be some of those as well, but yeah, we won't know. So and then Lick Township was another one. There was a 3-way race in Lick Township for trustee, and those fellows, there was 325 votes cast for write-ins.
Okay.
But we don't have the breakdown for that either. But hopefully, come November 17th when they do that official count, I assume
Then
they'll
we'll
do a hand count, and that's how they'll see who all like this Andrew Bobo, he got so many votes, and then we'll finally have winners for those.
So we're gonna have to wait a
races.
little bit for
Yeah.
some of those township
Right.
races because they
Yeah, we were scratching our heads last night, and then as we were sitting there writing results, me and Pete, and I told him, I said, when we put that paper ballot in, I think it just scans the circles, and then it's like programmed to line up. But when you write in somebody, it's not going to scan your writing to know.
Yeah, it doesn't know who.
It doesn't know what
you
you
wrote.
wrote. You could have written Mickey Mouse in there,
Right.
Which
has happened also.
Which has happened, but I just wanted to kind
And
of
sometimes that's what you want to write.
right. Just wanted to kind of give a little clarification on that, and I guess we'll have to wait to see how those two township races went.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what's your take on, so Pete was here for a moment and then had to leave. And we were talking kind of about the statewide issues, the issue 1 and issue 2, and breaking that down by, our county at least. And then I think that we do have some results from Vinton County. We'll get to those in just a moment.
Yeah, Jeff, our Total Media correspondent, Jeff Thacker,
Yes,
called in
thank you,
last
Jeff.
night and gave us those.
Did that.
He actually called in multiple times.
So we'll get to that in just a second. But it was really interesting to me, the issue 1 and issue 2. As issue 1 went about exactly how I thought it would go in Jackson County. Jackson County is pretty darn conservative, so we tend to not go toward the way the rest of the state votes. But the one that surprised me the most was the issue 2, where and that was the legalization of recreational marijuana. And Jackson County voted 3,889 for and 4,111 against. So that was literally like 51% or something to 49. Like it was so close.
Right.
And this isn't one of the most conservative communities in the state, probably.
Right. Yeah, they
very shocking to me.
Yeah, they both. I think my headline, because I had to write the story on the levies, and I headlined it: Jackson County voters shoot down issue 1 and 2, but passes statewide.
Yeah,
it was kind of the on my way in.
And they
I
did
stopped.
pass statewide. In case you missed that,
they did. Yeah. And when I haven't looked this morning, but the last time I checked, number wise, they were both very similar percentage wise on the passage and the yes and the no.
Yeah, they kind of mirrored each other's.
Yeah, I can look here.
Very interesting.
And see what it is now as of this morning, because not all the votes were in on that last night, but it was I mean, it was more than half that was in when we went off the air last
Yeah,
night.
I think the image that Dylan put up there, he's got them. So if you don't want to
Okay.
look
Yeah,
them
it's
up,
100% in
okay.
here, and the statewide, yes, it was 2,186,962. That's 56.62%.
Yep.
And then on the nose, it was 1,675,728. That's 43.38%.
Yep.
And then on issue 2, the yes was
Which passed even more.
was
Wow.
2,183,734 votes, and that percentage is 56.97%. And then on the nose, it was 1,649,339. That's 43.3%. So very, very similar percentage wise
Yeah.
there for both of those, both 56% and both 43%.
So here's a
Kind of the
question that I
way.
was getting ready to ask Pete when he had to leave, and that is, do you think that one had something to do with the other as far as people voting, like the voter turnout? I think the voter turnout was pretty good. I know here in Jackson County anyway. Do you think issue 1 got more people out to vote for issue 2 or vice versa?
I think anytime that there's state issues like this, that like you said,
Did they
at the top
piggyback
of-
off each
right,
other?
like you said at the top of the broadcast there, you said they're kind of hot topics.
Oh, yeah.
in the state. I think they get voters to come out to vote on those, and then that in turn helps with the local election as well.
Yeah.
Because then they're out voting on those contested and local levies and stuff. So that's good, because then sometimes when we have those off years with the primaries, and
Yeah,
you only
because
have
this is an off year.
and then this is considered an off year too, even though we're here in I always consider the general kind of the big one, but it is an off year. But in the primaries, hardly anybody ever comes out, but there's not a whole lot to vote on. So, but I think it's kind of like you said, a catalyst.
Just kind of
yeah.
pushes it along. So I did want to give a big shout out to, I know I went up yesterday after the morning show to the Jackson High School field house to place my vote, and boy, that was just, I mean, I don't know if they had any problems later, but it was like a well-oiled machine. I mean, I looked at the number of cars in the parking lot and I thought, oh, this is going to be a nightmare, but it was not at all. I mean, you walked right in, they had you checked in. They said, go to the table that says this. And I mean, it was just
those
really, really well done.
Those folks that they have working the polls at the different, there's 3 polling places in Jackson County now. Those individuals are very dedicated, and they always try to keep the line
Great
moving
job.
up there. I know I went by yesterday morning, and it seemed like I'd watched somebody go in, and then it wasn't long they were back out.
Yep.
So I voted early. I didn't vote on election day this year, and even when you go to vote early, I felt like that went really smoothly as well. I mean, I went in, got my ballot, voted, and then cast it, and I did that on Sunday, which was the last day for early voting.
Okay.
So I think there was, I don't remember how many there was. I think Pete covered that maybe earlier in the week, how many early votes.
We had quite a lot, actually, and that was that kind of sets the tone for how the rest of the election's going to go. And when I was there yesterday, we'd had about because it says the account when you put your ballot in.
Right.
I think it was close to, it was 10:30 when I went up there, and it was, I think, almost close to 300 people had voted already. So I was pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, when I voted, I put my ballot in at 4 p.m., which was an hour before that closed for the early voting. I was ballot 2,508.
Okay.
So, and I think Pete said he was like 2,500 and 500 maybe. So,
Okay.
and he had come in earlier 2 hours before I got there,
Okay.
I guess. So there wasn't a whole lot of flow, I guess, there in the late afternoon on Sunday. So
Very cool though. No, proud of you. It is, I'm telling you, I never thought in a million years that Ohio was ready for recreational marijuana. If I'd have had to bet, I'd have been a big fat loser this morning. I thought it would have been close, but not not on the winning side.
Right.
I thought issue 1 would pass just because I basically just talking to people, but recreational marijuana, I don't know. Now, here's the thing. Recreational marijuana, the vote of the people can be overturned by the legislature when they come back into session. Don't know if that would probably be a smart move on anybody's part to do that, going against the will of the people, but that's just my opinion. So we'll see.
Right.
Yeah.
Before I let Dylan get to the Benton County stuff here, I'd just like to thank everybody that tuned in last night. We had some hiccups with the video software I was using. For some reason, when I would go to, I was about, I think I was 30 minutes late, Dylan. You'd be disappointed in me. I was 30 minutes late getting on the air, but we didn't miss anything because we didn't have any results yet.
Right.
So all you missed was Pete Wilson chatting about,
Yeah.
what was on the ballot.
Yeah.
But for some reason, every time I would try to stream to my news personality page using the software that I was using, I had done testing and everything.
Yeah.
And it had worked fine. And then I kept getting an error message.
Oh, interesting.
So I selected a different Facebook page, which I selected the Telegram page. And for some reason, it let me stream to it. So once I got it up, I didn't have any problem. I was able to use all my little graphics I designed, and it was a lot of people liked it. I know at one point during the broadcast, I had around 200 people watching live.
When I tuned in several times, and there was well over 200 when I was watching.
Yeah,
so.
there was several times it was well over 200, and then we would take breaks and it would drop, and for the most part all night it stayed around over 100.
Yeah.
And I will say that we were kind of watching the we have a TV outside the studio here that talks about the Total Media radio app.
Yes.
And it showed that the Mix 96.7 radio app had a peak number of 91, Dylan. And I'm guessing that was me and Pete's election coverage.
I would say so.
And we held 50.
So.
Huh?
I would definitely say it was you guys.
Yeah, so we thought that was pretty good
Yeah.
for 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Heck yeah, people listening at that point, yeah.
So, but anyway, we appreciate Pete Wilson just came to the
Yeah,
door, but
he's
seen
back. He's
seen
like,
me,
"It's
see
good."
me. I've arisen from the dead. So, but anyway, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I thought that the video aspect along with the radio worked really well.
Yeah, great job, you
And,
guys. And I know it's a late night for you.
It was a late night. It was one of the.
thank you.
Yes, I was telling Jen, this is probably one of the longest election nights that I've personally experienced in my 11 years of doing this.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot.
it was a long night.
Yep.
So,
Well, great job, and thank you for stopping by and giving us a little bit of your thoughts too.
It was a long day. I think it was about 20 hours. I was awake yesterday
All right.
altogether.
You need another one of those coffee things.
Yeah, might have to go get one this afternoon.
Very good. All right. Well, Dylan, let's head on over to Vinton County now, where our good friend Jeff Thacker, and I'm not sure if Red's on this broadcast or not, but
Red piped in and had some interviews, but I'm not sure if we had that or not.
I'm not sure.
Okay, but
let's head on over
Jeff gives
for
the results.
Okay, for the Vinton County results.
Good evening again from the MacArthur election results. We are done. We have 20 of 20 in. These are preliminary because we still have a few like Logan, Hocking, Athens, some votes out there. Not enough of anything to affect anything that we're going to give you, but these would still be considered preliminary. So here we go. For the mayor of Hamden, Charles Boyer with 52, Lindley Holdsapple with 61, Mike Neer with 78. So Mr. Neer is the new mayor of Hamden. For village council in Hamden, voting for 2, Casey Brown with 59, Frank Hollingshead with 104, Merrill Henry Sayers with 64, and Vicki Annette Wiseman with 74. So it appears that Hollingshead and Wiseman will be the village council for Hamden. For mayor, Village of MacArthur, Steve Hammond with 384 complimentary votes. For member of village council in MacArthur, 2 to be elected, Hatfield with 237, and Mullins with 271. For member of Board of Trustees of Public Affairs, MacArthur Village, 2 to be elected, Grillo with 324, Kirkpatrick with 273. Mayor of Wilkesville, Matthew Smith with 25 complimentary votes. For member of council, Wilkesville Village, vote for 2, Mahone with 24, no other petition filed. Mayor Zalaski Village, Tossa Broom with 59 complimentary votes. Members of Village Council in Zalaski, voting for 2, Harris with 38 and Tripp with 45. Township Trustee, Brown Township, Heath Thompson with 49 complimentary votes. Fiscal Officer for Brown Township, Karen Martin with 52 complimentary votes. Township Trustee, Clinton Township, Mark Seymour with 365 complimentary votes. Fiscal Officer, Clinton Township, Vicki Patton with 328 complimentary votes. Eagle Township Trustee, Rodney Amorine with 97 complimentary votes. Eagle Township Fiscal Officer, David Huff with 71 complimentary votes. Elk Township Trustee, voting for 1, Robinette with 400, Audra Wright with 388. For Fiscal Officer in Elk, Keith Haggerty with 636 complimentary votes. Trustee, Harrison Township, no petitions filed. Fiscal Officer, Harrison Township. Township Trustee, Jackson Township, Donald O'Hara with 149 complimentary votes. Township Fiscal Officer, Jackson Township, Terry Sowers, 140 complimentary votes. Township Trustee, Knox Township, Kenneth Schutz with 136 complimentary votes. Fiscal Officer, Knox Township, 1 to be elected, Gates with 105, Hall with 60. Madison Township Trustee, Mark Peters with 160 complimentary votes. Fiscal Officer, Madison Township, Laura Mayers with 141 complimentary votes. Township Trustee, Richland Township, 1 to be elected, Lowe with 120, Curtis Reinhardt with 279. Fiscal Officer for Richland Township, Danny Minton with 351 complimentary votes. Trustee, Swan Township, Roger Bentley with 221 complimentary votes. Fiscal Officer, Swan Township, Tammy Lynn Hopkins, 185 complimentary votes. Trustee, Vinton Township, Cody Zakaras, 77 complimentary votes. Trustee of Vinton Township, Alice Malone with 65 complimentary votes. Fiscal Officer, Vinton Township, Megan Malone, 71 complimentary votes. Trustee, Wilkesville Township, Kenneth Napper with 139 complimentary votes. Fiscal Officer, Wilkesville Township, Kimberly Napper with 130 complimentary votes. Member Governing Board of Education Service Center, Athens, Gary Dickin, 8 complimentary votes. Governor Board at Large, Educational Service Center, Athens, Meg, no petitions were filed. Governor Board of Education Service Center, Gallia Vinton ESC, Brandy Betts, 717 complimentary votes. Governor Board of Educational Service Center, Gallia, Carol Porter, 727. Member of Governing Board, Educational Service Center, Gallia Vinton ESC, David Stifler with 817. Governing Board of Educational Service Center, Muskingum Valley, Ed Penrod with 14. Member of Board of Education, Alexander Local School District, Stephen Crook with 4, Lucy Judes with 6, and Blake Reagan with 4. Board of Education, Logan Scott Anzalone with 8, Larry Barrett with 5, Amy Black with 8. Board of Education, Vinton County, Marion Hale with 1,457, Roger Lee Houck, 1,830, Jerry Kendrick, 933, Scott Phelps, 707. So with all districts or all townships in, Hale and Houck will be your board members. Uncontested seat on the Vinton County Board, Misty Napier, with 2,210 complimentary votes. Issue 1, yes, 1,265, no, 2,112. So, then issue 2, yes, 1,777, no, 1,622. Liquor option by petition for Swan Township, yes, 223, no, 66. Liquor option Sunday sales Swan Township, yes, 209, no, 81. Vinton Township tax levy renewal and increase, yes, 91, no, 42. Proposed tax levy renewal and increase, Vinton Township, yes, 86, no, 46. Tax levy renewal, Richland Township, yes, 316, no, 118. Tax levy renewal, Jackson Township, yes, 109, no, 80. Tax levy renewal, Jackson Township, yes, 125, no, 65. Tax levy renewal, 0009 Elk Township, yes, 253, no, 134. Renewal of tax levy for Elk Township, yes, 596, no, 239. Tax renewal for Alexander Local, yes, 7, no, 7. Replacement levy, MacArthur Village, yes, 322, no, 120. Tax levy renewal, Zalaski, yes, 54, no, 20. Renewal from MacArthur Village, yes, 313, no, 135. Tax levy renewal, Hamden Village, yes, 117, and no, 83. Again, there's just a few votes out there that, come from like Hocking and Athens that won't affect anything as far as contested races here in the county. So for this evening, that's 20 out of 20 for Vinton County. That is Jeff Thacker saying good night.
Well, thank you, Jeff Thacker, for spending your evening as well with us and a late night it always is, to give those election results there from Vinton County. Thanks to Red for doing some call-ins, and he's always good at chasing people down and grabbing those interviews as well. So great team up there in Vinton County giving us those election results. We hope that you have enjoyed our program today, where we have given you some of the election results, at least here statewide when it comes to issues 1 and 2, as they both did pass and passed rather handily as well. So here in Jackson County, a little bit more conservative, but a little bit of surprise there in how those issues went. And so if you haven't caught that, please make sure that you tune in also to the Telegram, and they will have some stories in the paper here coming up, and you can kind of analyze it to how you think. So we appreciate y'all so much for tuning in today. Tomorrow, we have a very special guest on the program, and a special guest is one of our old-time favorites, the old man of rock and roll. Will be here to be talking about some of the Veterans Day programs that we have coming up, and also the really, really cool mobile unit from the VA to give a little bit of an update about that. So that is tomorrow, right, Dylan? Okay. I lose count of my days sometimes. So, all right. Well, we appreciate you so much for tuning in. Look forward to seeing the old man tomorrow, and we'll talk about all things Veterans Day. So have a wonderful day. It is supposed to be a very, very gorgeous day with highs in the upper 70s. So get out, enjoy that, and we'll see you right back here in the morning. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you then.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website.
TheTelegramNews.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Vinton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, TheTelegramNews.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
TheTelegramNews.com.
Subscribe today at thetelegramnews.com.
Check it out.